Hello everyone. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday morning. It's kind of crisp a little bit, but it's supposed to warm up. And I've decided to kind of step out of the house a little bit. I'm a bit of a homebody, but I think that a change in scenery would be really helpful for what I'm going to be doing today, which is mostly prepping work for my upcoming nanowrimo project. What am I gonna call it? Project Unraveled. I filmed a similar video to this about like 2 times now. This is my 3rd attempt, and I think I'm gonna make this shorter and sweeter because I do have a lot to say about this book, but I kind of want to keep it under wraps for a little while. But I will say it's just an adult fantasy, heavily inspired by my home culture, which is the Igbo tribe from Nigeria. I don't know if you have any friends who kind of are part of that, but yeah. So I'm really excited to incorporate those story elements into my novel, cultural elements, sorry. I'm making a whole new world, doing a lot of research for it, so it's a bit of a project, and I do think I'll need the rest of October to kind of make sure I have everything nailed down. But I'm really excited for it. I think that I have the potential to explore a lot of interesting themes. And it's a little bit inspired by recent things I've read, but more in a response format almost, but I don't really want to call it a response. Kind of my own take on some questions that have arisen in recent books that I've read. Most notably, I'll say Babel by R.F. Kuang. Yes, I finished reading that book. I am still planning to make like a response video to it because I'm still trying to formulate my Goodreads review. It's looking more like an essay. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I have a lot to say about it. I thought it was the concepts in there, the themes, the things that Kwang was trying to convey really hit me at my core. And I'm still, if you've read the book, you know, I'm still very about it. So yeah, but I'm excited on my own kind of new venture. It's a complete break from Snipped. I'm still going to be writing the other 2 novels that I had planned to write for NaNoWriMo. I was down to 2, and for one reason or another, I kind of just said, you know what, it's not going to work for me to write at this point in time. Both of them are still on the table for different points in my life later down the line. One of them is just too big, actually, to take on just right now as someone who's unagented, you know, hasn't gotten into traditional publishing. And the other one is a contemporary, and it's not something that I want to like potentially, you know, if everything pans out, like start a writing career on. I came up with this, like, I don't know. I just like forced my way into this new idea. And I'll try and sprinkling more details about it, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on. Going to a library on campus to kind of get in the mood to write. It's a really aesthetic library, but it actually doesn't open until later on in the afternoon, so I'm going to a different one before I switch over. And I do have snips to edit. I'm gonna try and get 2 chapters done, hopefully, and I also have schoolwork that I have to kind of tackle. But schoolwork, I said I was going to be done with it by 12, so I'm going to try and get that out of the way first. Well, first I'm going to do a little bit of plotting, a little bit of writing, just so I can get in the mood. Then I'll switch over, finish by 12, then focus on writing for the rest of the day. But yeah, I don't know how much I can take you with me, just because my campus, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard not to pinpoint some stuff on it, but I'll see what I can do, and I'll try and get some shots of the library because it's pretty cool. I haven't been kind of a NaNoWriMo person throughout my writing career. I've like attempted it a few times. I don't think I attempted it last year. Maybe I did, but it was more like, even when I attempt, I usually just take the project that I'm working on and I'm like, okay, I will be doing that. And that's usually because I don't like to come up with new story ideas and break away from the main thing that I'm writing, just because I have already a hard enough time already following through on projects in terms of writing them in a timely fashion, or timely for me. Kind of deviating from that would really slow me down even more, but I'm editing Snipped right now. I'm, doing dev edits, and so I'm perfectly capable of writing a new project. And, NaNoWriMo is perfect time to start. It's going to be way longer than 50,000 words, but NaNoWriMo, I think, will give me a good kind of launching pad. And I was watching a video, actually. I think it was a snippet from her podcast of Anna Neo. I'll put her right there, but she had mentioned that a good tip to, like, I don't know, make your NaNoWriMo as good as possible is to write the first chapter before NaNoWriMo starts. And I'm actually thinking of doing that. Like, a part of me wants to be like, no, I'm gonna, like, this is the first time I'm actually gonna really do NaNoWriMo, so let me try and, like, stick to what is supposed to happen. But I could see myself struggling to write the first chapter, even though I kind of know what's going to happen. I'm already, like, in the outlining phase for Project Unraveled, but I can definitely see myself struggling. I'm gonna see whether or not I want to do that, like, towards the end of October, just get some words down, see what the vibe is, how I'm writing this thing, and so that I don't get that, like, first line, like, lockup that I know a lot of writers have, and I tend to have it too. I want to write the best first line possible, punchy, intriguing, leaves the reader, like, wanting to devour the whole thing. But that doesn't come on the first draft. That comes with lots of revision, lots of feedback, all that kind of stuff. So who knows? But for now, I'm going to catch a bus and go to the library and continue on with Preptober.
Searching for the thrill, doing everything you can to stay on top of the hill. You say you met someone and now your head is in Brazil. So go for it if that's the deal, 'cause as long as you say that it's not the type of pressure, and you're taking it day by day, until you find something fresher. Then you ask me, baby, what do you think? I said I've noticed your arrows, and I'm not sure you're ready to hear it, but I'ma tell you this, my dear. Well, can't you see you're looking for trouble? Try to keep it chill.
I'll admit it, it's been almost a week since I filmed last. I was supposed to kind of wrap up after I did my whole Saturday day, plotting, doing everything. And then I kind of got caught up in stuff. I had a very busy weekend last weekend, like no time to film anything. I was just running around, barely in the place where I'm living at. So, and then I had a very busy week in terms of, I would say, classwork and stuff. Been kind of catching up on everything since then. So I've actually only really had the chance to do any kind of writing stuff last night, Thursday night. So yeah, it's Friday today. So, but I made some really good progress in terms of plotting, character work, fleshing out my story. I'm really excited about it. I think it's coming alive. We have names for characters. We have a little crew going on. I'm trying to think of what I said earlier on last Saturday. It's adult fantasy inspired by my culture. I want to say 125,000 to 130,000 goal for the first draft. I know that's high for someone, unagented, traditionally published. So, but that's just first draft. We'll see how it goes, just because there are a lot of moving parts. I also made some decisions on POV and everything. There are going to be 2 main POV characters, but it's going to be a third, at least for now. There might be more. There's going to be at least one more perspective at the beginning of the book. I got inspired, I will say, by Leigh Bardugo, and how in Six of Crows she started off with a completely different character. And I know, you have more room to be creative when you are already published and everything, but I feel like it's like a style like that would actually fit my story in terms of first chapter, first scene being like with a completely different character. And obviously you have to make sure to connect it to the, actual main characters so that the reader can care about them, can still be hooked in. But I think the way I started it is good just because I wanted to have a perspective looking at the main character kind of removed just because of what happens. I don't think that I want her thoughts on what's happening to be known immediately. Just because the story basically is going to start out with her undergoing a ritual. Vague premise things is that they're in a society that's completely constructed. I had to do a lot of world building for this. It's just like inspired by elements of culture, but it's not like it takes place in Nigeria or something. It's she's in a society where basically people who are born like her have the ability to, I don't know, study this kind of philosophy that kind of underpins their religion, and then ultimately be able to manifest those philosophies in power, like in a sort of power. You can kind of think of it as virtues. I think I might have said something about that earlier in the video, but you can kind of think of it as like virtues in different mythologies, religions, whatever. But yeah, and so you have to basically undergo this ritual at the end of your studies so that it like can kind of confirm that you're able to, or like allow you to be able to kind of get this power. And so my main character is going to be going through that ritual at the start because, she's finished her 9 years of study and now she's an adult. I would say about 25 years old. And yeah, so I don't want the ritual to be done while in her head. So I think having a separate character kind of who's viewing her do this thing, but having like a bit of like other story elements in their mind would be a better way to introduce it. The aftermath of her failing the ritual, because obviously, well, not obviously, but she does fail the ritual. So aftermath, starting chapter 2, scene 2, whatever it is, it's going to be in her head. So she's going to be the main character. This is going to be a second POV character who's not, it's not like an equal thing, I would say. I kind of struggled with that because I know like a lot of the books that I've read with multiple POVs are like pretty much equal in how much they give to other people, but I didn't want to do that with this thing. I think the second character is really important to the story, especially because of their positioning, but I didn't want it to just be her. But then I also know that my main character is the most central character in this story. And so, yeah, I think I want to be creative, I would say, with this project. Not necessarily have to like box myself into, okay, every single POV has to be like, and start writing about characters that I don't care about as much, but also constructing a world that is multifaceted, multiple moving parts. I think that it's important for me to keep these elements in there rather than it just being a straight narrative from one perspective, like Project Snipped is. And so we can segue to Project Snipped, but not many updates on that. So I did work on it a bit on Saturday, but I haven't worked on it since, actually. And I need to get into that because I want to finish it by November 1st. And we're kind of running out of days to do that. I think I can feel myself kind of pulling back from it just because the next chapter I have to write is a little bit of a rewrite in that I have to insert a new character. Not a new character. I have to insert a character that wasn't in the chapter into the chapter. Anything that's more than like stuff that I know I want to do developmentally, it takes me a little bit longer to get into, but I need to just force myself into it. And I don't even know why I'm dragging my feet, because the character I'm inserting into that next chapter is the love interest, and there's going to be, I decided to up the vibe a little bit in there, but it's mainly because he didn't feature much in the second half of Act 2 at all. Like after he has like a conversation with the main character like over the phone, in one chapter. And then after that, other than like a flashback, I think, in a different chapter, like he doesn't reappear until the beginning of Act 3, and that just can't really happen. So I'm inserting him into the, I don't know what chapter number it is, but the one that I'm about to start working on, and it's gonna be a really good time, but I need to push myself into that. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it for the updates. Good Preptober so far. I am doing a lot of research for Project Unraveled. I think I mentioned that's the working title. I this one is hard because the last couple projects I've had, I've known exactly what the title is going to be. Like I was locked onto it, but now it's going back to the kind of project snippet vibe, in that I'm thinking of things and I just can't. It's not coming to me. It's not going to come to me until probably later revisions, or even when I'm querying, I'm like, okay, I have to pick something. So, which is kind of frustrating because I'm so excited about this one. But I feel like actually, I don't know, it's the projects where I don't exactly know what the title is going to be where I'm the most invested. I don't know, maybe there's something to that, but other than that, I think that's it for the updates. I kind of like this setup. I'm sitting on my floor, have my phone balanced against my chair, my desk chair, because I have like little other furniture, but I think this is pretty good in terms of setup. I don't have to like hold it, my hands are not shaking. I can kind of do what I want, but that's it for this vlog. I'm hoping to get back into at least putting these out on a regular basis. I'm hoping my next video is either going to be AuthorTube newbie tag or my Babbel review, because I also need to write that Babbel review. I think that's it for now.